Pittsburgh and Washington, go out there and take a 24-inch line and stick it into a 16 or an 18-inch line. If the public ain't got nothing to say about that, they're gonna go right ahead and, they're gonna ignore us, let's put it that way. People have got to really get on their legislators and their senators and congressmen's butt. And, I know this is a consent order, I know this is, but isn't it ridiculous? Think about it, you're gonna pay for it. I mean, whether it's 5.2 million or 11 million, like Mr. Tarek says, you're shafted. We're all shafted.
Well, what the original idea was, they were gonna have the swirler plant put in down there.
Right,
And they wanted us to have everything ready for the plant when it started. And as I read that consent order, everything in there indicates that that's where it was supposed to be. And you were gonna take the construction of the line to the mouth of the tunnel, the Ravine Street side. Now, they're maintaining that we have to take it all the way through the tunnel, which is could be $1 million to $2 million itself working in that tunnel. They're saying you have to take it all the way down to the river. That's not the way the consent order reads, and we have our solicitor looking at that because what they call the mouth of the tunnel, to me, is the upstream portion. And if that's as far as you have to take it, then it's obvious that was put in there for the swirler. They took it out of, this is another governmental mistake, they took that out of the consent decree, or they took that out of consideration because they found out late in the game that the sewage in that line is separated. They were working under the assumption that we were all combined. So they went forward with all these hearings and studies and so forth, and then found that all they had to do was ask. And then we found out that it was a separated line rather than, and then in that case, a swirler is not valid, it won't work.
Good government at work.
I like to think that local government operates a little better.
So the swirler is completely out of the question.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's now being transported out to San whenever they get their pipes in order.
Thanks again, Michael, for coming and giving us that update. Next we'll move to the item for consideration.
All right, number one, move to ratify the payment of the following bills for March 2014. Administration, $42,816.85. Public safety, $23,116.54. Fire protection, $43,011.77. Sanitation, $25,553.11. Public works, $118,748.40. Recreation, $272.59. And miscellaneous at $28,290.80. And February 28th payroll, $135,434.60. And March 14th payroll at $115,809.30.
We have a motion. Mr. Ballas, I have a second. Mr. Brother Dean, all those in favor of paying the bills, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously.
Number two, motion to appoint Robert Kaling to the position of Munhall Borough Manager at a salary of $70,000, effective April 14th, 2014.
Motion?
Before we vote, I'd like to question the motion. I think we should say in benefits, because there was a benefit package attached to that.
Okay.
If you would accept that.
Did you? No, I did not.
Rob, you accept that? Okay. All right, with that, we can have a roll call vote, I guess?
Is that 70,000 plus benefits?
Yes.
What are we figuring for the benefits, about 15,000 for medical?
Whatever it is in our plan, I think that's about, I think it's a little higher than that, it's more like 20 on it.
Thank you.
All right, roll call. Joe Ballas.
Yes.
Rob Falls.
Yes.
Bernie Shields.
Yes.
Rich Bonadia.
Yes.
Rick Brennan.
Yes.
Harvey Ingalls.
Yes.
Dan Lloyd.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Unanimous, motion carries.
Congratulations, Mr. Calvin.
Mr. Calhoun. I've gotten calls from people, and I can just tell you this, that When we were in the interview process, a couple of us were just, I don't know, pleasantly surprised that there was a couple of candidates of Bob's caliber. It was right place, right time. It was one of those things where I think the stars kind of lined up right for Munhall, and we were going through a lot of stuff, and can't wait till he gets here.
Employment question on that. Mr. Falk has been acting as interim manager for a little bit of time now. What is the borough's position for him going to be now that you have a full-time person hired on? Will he still be gainfully employed by the borough?
He will. We're going to discuss that in a little while. We ran out of time in our executive session, and we're going to discuss that in a bit.
Just checking. He's done such a wonderful job for the borough. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't lose such a great guy.
No, we don't want to lose Harry.
I'm not going
We recognize what he's done for us, how much he's helped us out.
Paul, did you want to stand up and introduce yourself? If you do, please come up to the podium.
Thank you for the vote of confidence. Thank you very much. I certainly appreciate the vote of confidence. I'm looking forward to it. We have one there to start on April 14th. Tomorrow, April 16th. I'll be in Harrisburg on April 15th. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
I will also mention that Bob is going to be the recipient of an award in Harrisburg for excellence in local government management. So we were glad to get him. Congratulations on the award. Okay, Harry, number 3.
Number 3, motion to advertise for the appraisal of the fire station on Charles Street.
No motion.
Second. Mr. Rosenstein, second. Mr. Brennan first. All those in favor of the motion, or is there discussion on the motion?
That's a bad thing, you have to go through the
No, it doesn't. We own the building. Doesn't have to
Yeah,
go
this is
through.
just for the appraisal.
It's
We
appraisal.
have to find out what the
Yeah,
building is.
nothing to do with the market.
Nothing to do with it.
And this isn't a sale, it's just to get the appraisal done. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion's unanimous.
Number 4, motion to accept the bid of $5,254 for the 2000 Ford F-550 from Ladino Brothers LLC.
We have a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ballas, motion by Mr. Shields. We advertised this with a minimum bid of $5,200. It was $5,000 or $5,200,
5,000.
and there was only one bid on it. So, any issues with that, Counselor? No. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Unanimous.
Number 5, motion to advertise for bid the following: a 2009 Crown Victoria for $500 and 2001 Ford F-650 dump truck for $5,000. And I want to add for sold as is.
Motion.
For that.
Motion by Mr. Fall, second by Mr. Inglis. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Number 6.
Number 6, motion to purchase a 2015 7400 International truck through Hunter's Truck Sales at a price of $144,641.13. And I want to add it's through CoStars.
Which is what,
State buying program with minimum pricing.
I just, you know, wanted that.
Motion by Mr. Bodadian, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Shields. This truck, if I'm not mistaken, Bob, you said this is gonna replace the F-650. So that's kind of already out of commission, that truck.
Yes.
And we do have in the budget $40,000 for a payment on that truck this year, which is more than enough to cover our lease payment. So with that, any discussion?
We have a delivery date on that?
No.
8 months.
Usually takes a while.
Okay.
So that's the whole ball.
All right.
Number 7, motion.
Wait, we can vote. All those in favor of the motion to purchase the truck signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Unanimous.
Number 7, Motion to enter into a lease agreement with Laurel Mountain Leasing for communication equipment for Munhall Borough of Fire in the amount of $99,585.60, with 5 annual payments of $21,859.78 at a 4.8% interest rate.
Motion. Second by Mr. Inglis.
What is this for?
And, did I hear you ask a question,
Yeah, what's the
Michael?
lease for?
Well, the lease this is for our transition to the 911. These are the UHF radios, the stationary radios, all the equipment that we need in order. It's mostly fire. This is all fire.
It's mostly fire, it's like their pagers, their radios, the MDT for the trucks. I'll speak on that because Matt had to go to a fire, obviously.
Well, what's gonna
Yeah.
happen with the old ones?
The old
They
ones,
reprogram the old ones?
no, they're two
They're not-
different,
can't do
one's
that.
VH, this one's UH, they don't go inside.
After 5 years, do we keep them, or?
Yes, I would imagine, yes.
Gonna try to sell the old ones.
Are you?
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously.
All right, number 8, motion to accept the resignation of Michael Uhas, retroactive to March 14th, 2014.
Motion?
Second. Second by Mr. Ballas. Any discussion on the motion? Michael's decided to go back into the plumbing business. He was with us for what, about a year and a half, 2 years?
About 2 years.
About 2 years. All right, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously.
Number 9, motion to provide Ricky Bodadian with a 50-cent pay increase per hour effective immediately and retroactive to January 1st of 2014.
No.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Shields, second by
Question.
Mr. English.
Should we
Question on the
add,
motion.
should we add into that too, this is to settle a grievance? Should that be stated in there, Greg?
Yeah, that's fine, we discussed that, that's fine.
And that's the reason why we're doing
Yeah,
it.
and also,
Satisfied.
it should be contingent on him signing off on the
He did sign
agreement
it.
that Harry drafted, okay.
With that, that added language accepted by Mr. Shields, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Oh, Rick voted no? One abstention, I'm sorry, yes, yes, one abstention. My apologies. 8:30 was approaching.
Number 10, motion to approve handicap parking signs for the following addresses: 136 West Eugene Avenue and 1219 Market Street.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Have it checked out?
They have, yes.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Unanimous. Dan, did you discuss the crime watch meeting, or are you gonna do more on that?
No, that was enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, we are going to, not adjourn this meeting yet, we have some more stuff to do in executive session, and then we're gonna come back. We're not gonna be taking any other action, that we're gonna vote on, so I'm just letting you know.
What's the case you can't adjourn?
Okay, we'll just,
Well, I'd like to talk about something.
well, you can, and then we'll adjourn after you talk about something.
We're talking about parking, and I drove around 8th Avenue and 9th Avenue yesterday, and we have still bag meters on 8th Avenue with bags on them. And I don't know if there are any other areas in Munhall that have meters, but 9th Avenue has meters that used to be there, and the poles are still there. And I think on Dixon Street, there's still some poles standing up on Dixon Street. And looking at it and driving around, and I thought, why do we have poles there that are not, don't have a meter on them, for one thing? So if someone falls and impales himself on a pole sticking up out of the ground, I think that could be a potential problem. And if the meters have not been in use for 6 months or 5 months, or however long they've been bagged, why don't we remove all the meters down there and all the poles and make it a safe situation down there?
Because people would park there and go downtown and leave their car parked all day. That's why the meters was put in. There's 24 meters down there. At 50 cents an hour, we're losing over $1,000.
But there's no meters on Ninth Avenue.
And on 8th Avenue, all the library meters are taken off. Of course, I don't have a business on McCourt Street.
I still don't have an answer about the bags, other than what I read on the internet that I had them put on there, so I didn't have to pay a park. So could somebody?
Mayor and I-
So you bagged them.
The mayor and I have discussed.
So as soon as you got on to be president, you bagged them.
No, it was before my term.
Yeah, about 3 days before, you don't wanna make a whoop.
No, it was a month. That's the order. That was a month before I was in. Please.
I'll be glad to respond to your letter, but, you know, one thing that I have to say, there's been a problem down there ever since people come around and start stuffing pieces of material into the meters, painting them, paint so that you couldn't read them, doing all kind of things, and this has been from a few years ago, back and forth. It's been a trouble, an area of trouble because, no one's going to enforce them because you can't read them or they're jammed, intentionally jammed, and they were a few years ago. And our officer at the time decided since nobody's saying anything, and I told him, don't worry about them, because the position that I have to take on it is that once council passes an ordinance and tells me how to address Route 837 with meters, we'll go ahead and enforce them, no matter what council says. But I'm not going to enforce something that is a political ballgame originally, and now it's coming back to just an area of people want to park here all day. We've had businesses down there that wanted stickers again. They had stickers. One business had more stickers than you can shake a stick at because they had employees down there. As a matter of fact, one day I went by for stickers to try and control this type of thing. I went by and there's a Florida license plate with a Munhall sticker on it. So that was the end of the stickers after I saw that. So when council determines what they want to do with 837 Dan, we'll be able to gladly enforce it. I gave you the book 3 years ago, and you know, I said to you then, because I wrote some of that, and so did Bob Everhart, wrote about 89% of it. But what was in there, and I requested any changes that anybody has. Well, you know, I understand everybody's business. The book's that thick, as you well know. I don't even know where mine is now. But at any rate, council, whatever they decide, will be glad to enforce.
I think that's a fair position.
You know, that's the only thing I can say about that issue, because at the time, we had a problem with meters on 9th Avenue too, you know, and people complaining about, you know, people parking there and going to, and it's the same way with 8th Avenue. People want to park here, they want to, you know, but at the same time, it's either one way or the other. Either we do enforce or we don't enforce. And that's what I'm saying. As soon as we get an ordinance or something that I can say, hey, this is what we're doing, we'll be glad to enforce it.
So the bags, will they stay or will they come off?
Sounds like they're staying for now, Donna.
Until we get an ordinance.
Mr. Brennan, you
Can I make a motion then?
can if you want.
Can I make a motion that we remove the meters on 8th Avenue and 9th Avenue, the poles that are existing and have been there for, I don't know how long?
The
As a
meters or the
safety,
poles?
yeah, both.
Both
The meters on
and the
8th,
poles?
8th Avenue and the poles on 9th and Dixon.
Is that your motion?
Yeah, that's my motion.
Okay. We have a second?
Comment on the
I
motion?
think we ought to wait till see what we do with the ordinance.
Okay.
Do we need an ordinance
Yes.
Yes, we
We
do.
need a
to
second.
remove meters?
No,
No.
what we're gonna do down there, if we're gonna,
What I'd like to do is I don't wanna entertain the motion, no one seconded the motion, if anybody wants to, they can. But what I'd like to do is make it part of a more comprehensive look at what we're gonna do with the whole parking situation down there.
Well,
And then we do need to give them direction.
I think we need to look at a safety issue, because if someone falls and impales himself on one of them poles in a drunken fight, and we get sued because there's someone killed on one of them, then we're liable.
I'd like to discuss it at next month's workshop.
Please be careful with the poles if you're down there on 9th Avenue. Especially if you were drinking. One other thing that I'd like to bring up before we adjourn to the executive session.
How often is impalement happen?
Is the Pyratopia event, that's gonna be held at Westfield in May, is it the 26th? May 3rd, at Westfield.
I'm sorry, 10th.
May 10th, the Pyratopia event. It's gonna be used for us and for Western Pennsylvania. It's a great event. Big planning going. In addition to just them having their event here, they've begun to work with us on grant opportunities and funding to make this a better event space. I encourage everybody to attend. We have big plans for it, not only this year, but to continue to build it into a bigger event year after year. And again, it's part of building communities type initiative. So.
Yeah, and I do have, I'd like to ask the engineer, what's the rules for our CSO? Combined sewer overflows, we only have them up to what, 22nd? What is the latest rule? I keep getting rebuffed everywhere I go on what the answer is, and who must sweep and who must not sweep.
I think that's actually Mike, if Mike could weigh in, is the town still designated as a CSO community, or is that being changed?
We're part, up until about 19th Avenue, we're CSO.
So have you adopted the 9 minimum controls document?
Yes, we do.
Okay, it should be included in the 9 minimum controls of what the street sweeping requirements are, so if I can get a copy, I can get that information too.
You know what, I'm sure Sean has a copy of that.
As long as you're okay with me looking at it and giving information.
And what is it that was the issue? I'm sorry?
How often street sweeping needs,
Oh, well, street sweeping in the,
What's the rules, Mike? What towns? Towns over 10,000, towns under 5,000? Is that out the window?
it's only required in the combined areas. In the sanitary only areas, it's not required. So most of your time, really, I mean, you do it because you want to clean the streets, I know, but it's not a requirement by the DEP. We're probably looking at the CSO area for Munhall being 20 to 30%, and so the other 60-some% you don't have to do.
Thank you. And I did talk to Bob about sewer basins in the lower end and getting them taken care of so that we don't have a problem. And he's working on that. But with that, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
One more thing, please, Dan. I might as well shake you up.
Okay.
We're talking 9/11, once again, my not favorite subject. I'd like to know the direction that we're going in. I'd like to see a game plan from council as to these people are being removed, put somewhere else. Where are they going? I got a million questions. What about the cameras? Why did we buy cameras in the first place? Who's gonna take care of the prisoners? What about these guys that are perfectly working down there? The council, and I wish you'd bring it up to a meeting, sit down and discuss this, and just give the police, the police, a schematic as to, hey, guys, this is what we're doing, and what job description. Because right now, I have no idea what your thoughts are.
We discussed that.
I'd like to know.
We discussed that in executive session.
That's personnel
Last week, and we did discuss it with the chief, and he wanted some more direction, and we asked him, well, actually, at the end of last meeting, for him to give us some of his three proposals on how to handle that.
Well, how can't we have another meeting and discuss this?
Absolutely.
Well, I'd like to request that.
Let's do it
sit
next
down.
week. Let's get
Whenever
together early
we
next
can,
week.
well, I don't know where I'll be, but, anyway, Yeah, as soon as possible, you know, let's find out. These guys are sitting on a bunch of tax and, wondering where they're going, and I think it's only fair that one.
We did discuss too that that was not an issue necessarily for us to decide on how they're.
But see, things like, they belong to the, workers' union, and yet they're assigned to the police, and we schedule them. I mean, there's all kind of, contradictory items there that I guess, Greg would be able to answer a lot of questions on what council can do, what they can't do, and what the police can do. But I certainly don't wanna see us lose our capabilities on protecting the public, like with the cameras and all that. If they're gonna have cameras downtown, and they're gonna be monitoring our cameras, which they'll never look at, because they got all them other communities, what good are they?
Well, they didn't say that they would monitor the cameras. What they did say is that if there's an incident in a particular area where we have a camera designated, they can switch to that camera and look at it. And it's still gonna have recording ability.
But that don't make me feel safe. I mean, what about the prisoners? What are we gonna do with them?
We did discuss that, and we'll discuss it again, and we will have a plan worked out.
Let's have them, how do they do?
Good enough. We have a motion to adjourn.
I don't do that anymore.
Motion.
Motion, can you be the second?
Second, I'll be the second.
Be the second. All those in favor?